I am Gail Bliss from the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I will be your moderator tonight. The primary is February 20th. None of these candidates will have a primary, correct? However, there is a statewide Supreme Court race on February 20th. The general election is April 3rd. Voters will choose one candidate for mayor, each city, whichever city council person they are associated with, county board, and 2 for school board. I would like to thank our Wisconsin Revolution for sponsoring this forum, and our timer, Patrick Stoffel. Could the mayoral candidates be coming up here and joining us? Each question will be asked to all candidates, and each will have 1 minute to answer the question, and the order of responses will be alternated. We will start with opening statements of 2 minutes. Written questions from the audience will be accepted if time permits. Please write down your question on one of the cards provided, and these will be collected during the forum. Questions should be issue-based. Please turn off your cell phones and hold your applause until the end of the forum. We have a tight schedule tonight, so let's get started. Good evening, gentlemen. Here we have mayoral candidates, Luke Diaz and Dennis Beers. Welcome. Luke, we'll start with you, with your opening statement.
Yes. Okay. Hi, my name is Luke. I'm running for mayor of the city of Verona on a platform of keeping our hometown feel even as we grow. As a proud father, a Verona City Council member, and a former Epic employee of 11 years, I've seen how Verona has grown and changed over time. And I want to keep it a great place to live for everyone. I want to represent all Verona residents, whether they just moved here or whether they lived in Verona their entire life. I'd also like to thank my treasurer, Joe Winnicke. Speaking of lifelong Verona residents, thank him for his help and support. And I would like to thank OWR for sponsoring this forum. I love the chance to get out in front of the public and talk to people and to listen to people as well. I hope to earn your vote April 3rd. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Danny Beers. I've been in Verona since 1991, and I've been on the Verona Area School Board for the last 15 years. Just got off in April, and so I really have had an opportunity to see also the firsthand the growth, and had a hand in many of the decisions that have already been made in Verona because of my close work with the city. And I have the privilege of running in a contest in a local level that I really feel is important. People seem to get more exercised over state and national issues, but I can't think of anything that's more important than what goes on right here in our community. And my work on the school board was based on that, and if I get to the honor of being mayor, my work will also be based on that as well. So I feel I can offer a deep breadth of opportunity to provide leadership. We've been blessed with 2 really good mayors in a row. I'd like to see that continue. I'd like to see the issues explored fully and openly, and hopefully the community will come together and make the right choice.
Thank you, Danny. Since Luke started with the first question, Luke started with the statement, you get the first question. Why are you running for mayor, and what will be your top priorities? We have our timekeeper right over here. He'll hold up a sign at 15 seconds.
And this is a minute?
1 minute.
Thank you. Well, related to my previous statement, my reason for running really is an outpouring of support from the community. People heard that John Hokemer was not going to run again. They were very concerned about a lack of possible leadership in the city government. Many people have asked me to run, and I took that very seriously. I feel that my leadership qualifications from the time on the board offer a lot of the same skills that can navigate us through the future waters. Our planning has been deep and pretty effective. We've got some great development areas that are already open, and I intend to continue on that work and get it into the future.
The question is, why are you running for mayor, and what will be your top priorities?
Thank you. As I said in my opening statement, I'm running to keep Verona's hometown feel even as we grow. And what this means to me is supporting responsible development that fits in with neighborhood concerns, supporting a vibrant downtown that's good for places, good for people who want to shop and eat downtown, supporting infrastructure for people who want to walk and bike, for protecting our natural resources like the Badger Mill Creek, which has unfortunately been designated as an impaired waterway by the DNR, supporting green initiatives like energy conservation and solar panels, which, aside from the fact that they're good to do to protect our environment, they could also save the city money. I want to keep supporting our great city services like 24-hour fire coverage, the senior center, and the library. I want to see the Fitch-Verona EMS continue to expand its community paramedicine program, which aside from being great for preventative care and improving quality of life, it can save money. And finally, I want to improve transparency and communication and do a really good job on that. And that's just a start. Thank you.
Okay, Luke, you're next with the second question. What qualifications and experience will you bring to the office of mayor?
I think that a lot of people bring different things and qualifications to city government. I want to point to my time on the city council, not to say that you have to be on city council to be mayor, but to show my values and to show that, like, if I say anything that you like, you can believe it. My record shows that I follow through. I want to make a general statement about qualifications. I think that more people should think about running for office and getting involved. And if you know running for office isn't your sort of thing, there's lots of other ways to get involved locally. And if I get elected, I hope people come talk to me. Thank you.
Okay, Denny, qualifications and experience.
Well, I alluded to some of it in my previous remarks, but basically that 15 years of service on the school board is really critical. It's given me a very deep perspective on budgeting, on union contracts, retirement plans, and all the things that go into running government employee-based. I don't know the whole details of exactly how the budgets are formed in the city, and I can learn that. But our way of doing it over the past 15 years has been pretty effective. I've tried to bring out different points of view, get everybody to explore what the options are, and then come together as a board and make a decision. And that is pretty critical to what we would like to accomplish on the city council. Also been a local business owner for about 40 years in financial services, so I have a lot of experience that way too.
Thank you. The next question stays with you. What do you see as the major challenges and opportunities facing Verona?
The major challenges and opportunities are really based around planning and development. We have the Liberty Park, the Technology Park, the current areas of residential development, and then we're planning for some really big ones coming up. That work is well underway, thanks to the great leadership that we've had in the past, but that is really a critical piece of this. We need to see these plans carried out. We need to see people come together and really understand what these developments are going to look like when they come off the planning board, instead of waiting to the end and having everybody come out and complain about them. I was on the downtown committee. We worked in good faith. It was business owners and municipal people, and the communication broke down. Communication has apparently been bad between the school district and the city. I will work to improve that.
Thank you. Okay, back to Luke for challenges and opportunities.
Thank you. I think there's really two places with challenge. One is the city of Verona is growing. I think that's obvious to everyone. And I think it's an opportunity, but it's also, there's potential downsides as well. We want to make sure that development fits in with the character of the city, that's good for the people of Verona, that keeps Verona a great place to live. So that's one of the challenges. I think another challenge is reducing city debt. As the city grows, we are borrowing money, but in my opinion, we're borrowing too much. Interest payments reduce flexibility and kind of constrain what we can do and provide to city services. So that's something I would like to work on. And then finally, communication. There's been a lot of times when communication has broken down. As an alder, I've been an advocate of open government, of being transparent. And I think if I get elected mayor, this will be an opportunity for me to actually accomplish some of the things I've been pushing for as alder and get better communication, both with citizens and with other governing bodies as well. Thank you.
And we have a question from the audience. So Luke, you get to start with this one. Do you support continued consideration of building a city outdoor pool?
I do support continuing consideration. There's a few challenges with it. One is the location. It's really, really critical that we get a good location that's by people, and it is centrally located as possible. And the second challenge is how we fit it into the budget. With the $5 million that the city is likely to pay to the school district for the building of the road, the upcoming public works building that we're going to have to build, and other debt that we've taken on. It's the kind of thing we're going to have to be very careful about how we fit it into the budget. However, that being said, there's a lot of people that want a pool. It's an opportunity to be a great community center, and I think as long as we are careful and can fit it in at a good location, I think then we should do it. Thank you.
I figured somebody was going to ask that question. That has been the proverbial Verona question for 20-some years since the original referendum. I have an open mind about that issue because there are pluses and minuses to each side of it. My personal opinion really isn't quite as important as what is needed to do is to bring out everybody in town and get that public opinion as well, because as Luke said, there's challenges with each one. The school district has put out, they're building that extra pool as part of the package at the new high school. That provides recreational opportunities for the entire year, not just in the summer. But the pool would provide a possibility maybe at the Sugar Creek site that I think that is really going to be the most important piece of the next work that goes on, is examine it as part of that Sugar Creek redevelopment plan.
Okay, and this will be the last question from the audience because we're going to be running out of time if we take too many more. Do you embrace the desires of all the Verona citizens, or are you going to do what Progressive Dane wants to accomplish?
I can assure you that I would not do that part of it. I would not listen to either, shall we say, any outside influences. I believe in the community that we live in is a fantastic community. We have wonderful people here. And I don't care, I can care less what my neighbor, how they vote on national issues or state issues. I want the best for Verona. And I'm willing to listen to anybody. No side has a monopoly on good ideas. I pride myself on that ability to listen and try and develop a consensus. I think that's one of the key skills that I offer, and I will certainly do that if I'm elected.
Thank you. I think my record has shown that I take constituent concerns very seriously, especially on development. When it comes down to it, I listen to Verona residents. I don't, like I said, good ideas can come from anyone, whether you've just moved here or whether you've lived here your entire life. To me, what I look at is that you have a legitimate concern, a legitimate question, a good idea, ways we can improve our city. That's what I'm interested in hearing from Verona residents. And if that's the case, then yeah, I don't care what your political party is or anything else. I'm gonna do what's best for Verona. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we have 1 minute for closing statements, and yep, you get to start closing, and Dennis gets the last word.
I just want to once again thank OWR and the Senior Center, I guess, as well, for providing a space. I love the opportunity to get out and talk to people and listen to people. If you see me out campaigning, if you see me tonight, if you see me some other time, feel free to talk to me, and let's talk about how we can improve Verona. Thank you.
Yeah, I too want to echo my thanks to everyone for turning out tonight in the middle of January. And it's hard to get up off the couch when it's so nice, nice 15 degrees or whatever. But this is really important exercise in democracy. It's great for us to get together and talk about these issues. Having a contested election is important. I feel that my years of service on the board, my leadership, my skills at bringing consensus together, I think is proven. And I will continue to do that if I'm given that honor of being elected. I really think that the next few years, in particular, looking at West Verona Avenue, all of the action that is going to be on that side of town is a priority for me. I will do my best to develop that consensus and get public input for that. Thank you.
Thank you both, gentlemen. We will now move to the city council candidates. Welcome to the Aldermanic Candidates Forum. Again, each candidate will start with a up to 2-minute statement, since we started at that, and this time we're going to start at this end and go this way.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Linder. I am the current City of Verona Alderperson in District 2. I've been in Verona for almost 20 years. I started out on, I was in a different part of Verona on Thompson Street and met my wife, and family grew, and we ended up moving to a bigger spot closer to Epic. I've been there about 10 years. I've been on the Verona City Council or the Plan Commission for 14 years now, some of those at the same time. And why I'm running, I enjoy this a lot. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy going to local meetings, meeting with the people, trying to come up with solutions. It's something I really enjoy, is coming up with solutions, working together. Been to some neighborhood meetings, work with the city, see what we can do to help. That's probably the main reason why. I also like to, I just like to be involved. I like to hear what's going on, help the guide the development. Over the years, I've come to learn a lot on how the city works, and it's fun to do. It's something I really enjoy. So that's the main reason why I'm running.
Hi, my name is Katie Cole, and I am running for City Council District 2. First, I want to thank OWR for hosting this forum and allowing Verona residents an opportunity to learn about candidates in a lot of different important races. I guess I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. My husband and I moved to Verona almost 9 years ago with our then 2-year-old daughter. We had looked all over Dane County and chose Verona for our home because we fell in love with the small town atmosphere and the sense of community, great amenities and parks, as well as the wonderful school system and the great location. We now have 2 daughters who are now 10 and 7, and they have joined me this evening. They keep us on our toes. So 9 years later, 2 homes, we have 1 guinea pig and 1 dog. We feel even more connected to our hometown, even 9 years later. My girls are active in their school, as am I. I'm a member of the Governance Council at New Century School and the fundraising committee. I'm also an active community member. I volunteer at the Badger Prairie Needs Network. I volunteer with my girls' Girl Scout troops and 4-H club. And I'm an active member and Sunday school teacher at Good Shepherd Lutheran. And I just signed up to coach my daughter's lacrosse team through Verona Lacrosse this summer, or this spring. So I would just like to say that I'm really excited to be here and speak with all of you.
Good evening, and I have really enjoyed serving the D3 constituents over the past years, and I want to give a huge shout out to Mayors Furch, Volker, and Hokemer for their outstanding service to the city over the years as our mayors. And I also would like to thank the city administrators that we have had, the department chairs, and also the city workers who do all the work in keeping our city what it is today. We have been working for many years to keep this city what our forefathers did in the beginning. Of course, we're adjusting the time. People now are working more and playing less. So when they come back from work, they want to have a place to work and play. So we have done that over the years. We have provided recreation facilities throughout the town. And we know that there are a lot of people that come here to play against us in sports or whatever the reason is. And they like to eat. And for years and years and years, they left town to feed their families after the competitions. Well, we built Fast Food Alley. Now people come to town and they compete, whether it's a city sport or a school sport, and they feed their families before they go back home, and it's a win-win situation. So we have developed quite a nice little city here, and as you've heard everyone say, we want to keep it that way.
Good evening, and thank you to OWR and the League of Women Voters for inviting me. I'm Kate Cronin, and I'm running for alderperson in District 3. To give you a little bit of background about me, I've been a homeowner in downtown Verona since 2003. I'm also a health educator and have spent my career here in Wisconsin helping families create habits that will benefit their long-term health and well-being, specifically around nutrition and physical activity. You've heard this already, but when I first moved to Verona in 2002, first as a renter, there's only one stoplight in the entire city. So you and I have all watched the changes, big and small, that have happened in Verona in the last decade or so. And living downtown, I feel like I've kind of had a front row seat to see the increasing traffic through Verona and the increasing business and residential development throughout Verona. So I'm running because I'd like to be able to give my neighbors in District 3 a voice in that growth of Verona, so that we can ensure that it's smart, that it's sustainable, and that it maintains that hometown USA feeling that we all love about being from Verona. I also want to make sure that we have housing options for anyone who wants to make their home in Verona. You know, we pride ourselves on having great schools, which we totally do, and having great services provided to us by our police, firefighters, and EMS. I want to make sure that these public servants can live in Verona, that people like me, who is a single income family, can afford to live in Verona, and that young people can come to Verona and live here. And I also want to make sure that we can attract new businesses with the assurance that they will have an employee pool who will be here in Verona, so that they won't have to struggle with employee turnover. And last but not least, we've had a lot of uncontested races in Verona, and I think that a healthy democracy thrives on giving people choice. So that's why I threw my hat in the ring. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. The first question, and we'll start with Katie Cole for this one, is why are you running for City Council, and what will be your top priorities?
Well, I love Verona, and my family loves Verona, and I want to be able to give back to my city. And I feel the best way I can do that is to represent my friends and neighbors on the City Council. As you all know, there's a lot of development around Verona. It's the hot topic. People are moving here for the same reasons that my family and I moved here, which is a fantastic thing. I think it's great that people are choosing Verona as a place to live and raise their families. And Verona is one of the fastest growing suburbs in Dane County, which is exciting but offers challenges as well. So I guess one of my top priorities would be to address development occurring around our city and ensure that it's responsible and sustainable, and most importantly reflects the kind of development that Verona residents want to see in our community. Particularly, I'm interested in focused development in our downtown area, working to attract shops and restaurants that would complement the already amazing businesses that we have. And I envision a walkable, bikeable downtown shopping corridor that's exciting for our community as well as neighboring communities to enjoy.
That's right, I know. Okay, the question was, why are you running for City Council, and what will be your top priorities? So it's Brad, and then Katie, and then Jack.
I'm running for City Council because that's what I've done. I've been here since 1992, and I was brought here against my will. I did not want to live in a city. I wanted to live in Iowa County, where I was very happy, and my wife got a job here. And of course, she didn't want to commute 25 miles, so I found out what city life was all about. And boy, did I find out, because we have 3 children. They were Mighty Mites at the time, and I found out that the school was awesome. I said, wow, we did the right thing here, because these kids jumped into the school process and flourished, and now they're all paying taxes and working and having a great life. And we even have one married now, and I'm waiting for him to get the job done. The city life in Verona is very, very good.
So I do think we're at a unique time in Verona's history where we're facing a period of rapid growth within the next decade. And I'm running because I think it's important that we have a voice on the council that will engage and represent our neighbors in helping us to define how do we want to do this and what do we want Verona to look like. How do we maintain and protect what we all love about Verona? Not that we're a bedroom community for Madison or a series of disconnected neighborhoods, but that we're hometown USA. One of the things that I love about my neighborhood in downtown Verona is that we have a whole variety of people who live there. There are single people like me, there are people with young children, there are older people who have had their kids launched. I think that when we can have those kind of diverse neighborhoods, that Verona will thrive. Thank you.
I believe earlier I explained why I was running. Some of the top priorities for me are, I've been on the finance committee for the last 4 years, and one of the things I'm very proud of is that we've reduced the city taxes almost 15% during that time. It doesn't mean everybody's taxes have gone down because other municipalities or other taxing entities, but something really proud of it, not just for the homeowners, but for the businesses. Businesses pay the taxes too, make a good business environment. We get jobs here, we get businesses moving here, and it's one thing I'm very proud of. And that also relates to the debt. We've been working on the debt, we've been putting money aside, but we got some big things coming up. The Public Works building is looking for somewhere around $15 million coming up, and that'll be an important topic. The EMS and EMS district is really nice, really important, but they're adding and looking at an ambulance in Fitchburg, and that'll be another challenge because that'll affect ours because we share that burden with Fitchburg. So those are some of my priorities.
Okay, the next question, we'll start with Brad and go around again. This question is, what qualifications and experience do you bring to the City Council?
Age. I've been around a long time, and I've been living in Norway all my time in Verona. I'm very neighborhood oriented, and I have branched out serving the seniors. We helped build this building and build it, and they will come. Thank you all for being here tonight. This building is a multi-purpose. It's been fun to do that, and our seniors are active. They do not just sit at home and rock in chairs. They need to be entertained and do things also. Another reason that the city is just a total good situation, we have lots of people passing through our city, and a lot of those folks want to have a place to stop and shop, and we are providing that. They stop and eat too, and even come to town now and stay in hotels because we built.
So I'm a health educator and a research coordinator who spent the last 2 decades managing the implementation of some pretty large-scale academic research grants and contracts. So I think my skills as a planner, as a project and financial manager will serve me well on the council. A lot of the research that I've been involved with has involved bringing lots of different people to the table to create work plans, to create sustainable change. I think that will also serve me well. My background in public health also gives me kind of a unique perspective on what we call the built environment, or more commonly, how much fast food impacts residents' health, how much physical activity opportunities there are. I think that having that perspective will allow me to bring a unique perspective to City Council.
Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, I've been on the involved with city government for 14 years. I've been on city council for over 6 years and the planning commission for about 11 years total. And that alone is pretty good, but it's probably some of the best experience I've had has just been with people, talking to people over the years about the different projects going on in Verona, meeting with them, getting their input. I've been doing that for the same amount of time or longer. I think that experience is really important to get to know people and how they feel. And I use that feedback from the people in how I make decisions when I'm making votes on the city council.
Well, I didn't mention before that I am a forensic scientist and DNA analyst at the State Crime Lab in Madison, and I've held both scientific and supervisory positions there. So I've managed projects from large projects all the way to small projects, as well as maintaining budgets for 3 different units that I'd supervised. I've worked with upper management staff through the DOJ all the way down through scientific staff, and I think I created a positive leadership environment where I fostered other people to be able to lead, and I created a good teamwork environment. I really love working with people. I'm very open. I love talking to people, but I'm also a very good listener. And as sitting on the governance council at our school, I have also worked in a government type setting where I've set bylaws and budgets and worked to hire a new director, work with 501c3 committee, and feel like that's given me some really valuable experience.
Thank you all. We have one of the little blue cards, and we'll start with Kate this time because she's the only one who hasn't started. It's the same question we asked to the mayor's folks. Do you support continued consideration of building a city outdoor pool?
So I think you're going to hear kind of the same response, which is I think that it is something that we need to consider, but we need to find the best site so that it can be well utilized by the majority of Verona families who would like to see this. I do think that we have to take into consideration the cost and the liability of a pool. And I'm also open to considering other possibilities like having a splash pad that I know would be attractive to maybe a different crowd, maybe a little younger set than those who are interested in the pool. But I also don't want to discount that we also have Fireman's Park that we could continue to improve. So I am open to the consideration, but I think that we have to look at what that's going to entail for the city.
Thank you. Jack?
Thank you. Quite frankly, I have not made up my mind on a pool because I don't think we have enough information. First of all, we don't know where it's going to go. We just know where it's not going to go, which is the ideal spot was originally the Dane County Park, carve off part of that, but that did not work out. There has been talk of the Sugar Creek property, but it's currently owned by the school. There are talks of 2 pools for the new school. We don't know if that's really going to happen or not. Depends if they decide to do that. So there's just a lot of questions yet on whether to do that. But one thing I will say is that if we decide to not put in a pool, that we need to upgrade facilities at the Fireman's Beach. The building is quite old. It is not a jewel of the city by any means. And I think Fireman's Park itself is pretty nice. My family and I go there every year, and that alone is a pretty nice feature. A lot of people come and use it for triathlon training, and it brings another an outdoor option for the city. So that's what I'm at.
Personally, I would be in favor of a pool. However, I recognize that there are challenges that go along with it as far as cost fitting into the budget. I feel that it would be a positive experience for people who can't afford to join a private pool, or people who don't have access to driving to a private pool that's outside of our city limits. It would be wonderful if we could have one in a central location that children and families could walk to and bike to, and seniors could have access to. And but again, I do recognize that it could provide some hardship in budget, so I would do what's best economically for our city.
And we're finishing up with Brad on this question.
With the plans that the school has for pools, I have said all along that I am a Fireman's Park supporter. It has been good enough for the city of Verona for decades, and many families have went down there to enjoy that park. We have spent some money there to improve the shelter, and there's plans to improve it even more with sand and removing some trees and enlarging the beach. And yes, I would love to have a splash pad right next door to that, pumping the water out of Fireman's Park, splashing it into the air. Let the little children have a fun time, and as the water falls back to the pad, it flows back to Fireman's Park into the water. So there's no waste of water, but yet we're providing entertainment for our youngest people. There will be plenty of pools for older people to train and recreate in with the school district. And down the road, maybe there will be an option or a place.
All right, everybody. The next question has come from the audience, and we're going to be starting down there with Jack. What would you do to preserve the 100-year-old New Century School building if the school district vacates it? In general, how important is historical preservation?
Historical preservation is important for us. The city council a few years ago bought the property where the Mass House is, and then we spent time getting input onto what to do with it, and we settled on a construction person to rehabilitate the building. It could have been easy to tear it down and forget about it, but we decided to basically spend the money to make it look nice, to keep it. As far as New Century goes, right now it's on the school property. We haven't talked about this. This is something that I've never been in that school, so I can't say as I know how it looks on the inside. It's a good question though, because I'm not sure what the school district wants to do with it. That would be the biggest question, if they want to keep it or trying to get rid of it. So I mean, it's a new topic that I haven't really thought a lot about, because it's a school property, it's not a city property.
Well, I bet you can guess this is probably a subject that's close to my heart, since my children do go to school there. I love that building. My children have grown up there, and it provides so much character and history for our downtown area in Verona, which is a relatively newer city, historically speaking. So I don't feel like there's a lot of historical landmarks here. So I would definitely be for preserving this building. I don't know how that would happen. Like Jack said, it's a school property right now, but I would definitely be for preserving that building, because I think we have a lot to learn from our historical buildings, and I would not want to see it torn down.
Okay, Brad?
We made a huge mistake once, maybe twice. Back when Dr. Sharp's house became available, the city bought it, and they tore it down. It was an 1848 building, a twin to what you see at the Matt's house, an 1848 building. The Hardys went away, and the problem is now we have an active Verona Historical Society, and they would like to keep that building because many of our older seniors went to school there. They would like to keep these artifacts around for nostalgia, to help them remember their past. And all of you probably have enjoyed the Matt's house, and Troy did an outstanding job with that, and we can do something with that building also if we just keep it.
So I would be open to all kinds of different proposals. You know, one of the things as a downtown resident is we're kind of limited with real estate. There's not a lot of open land. So there are people who would love to see a pool in downtown Verona, but if there was enough interest in preserving that building, I think there are interesting ways to repurpose it, and one of those could be really cool housing for apartments, or however it would be configured, that would maintain the character of the building and keep that historical facade, but allow that building to have new life. So I would be open to all kinds of different proposals for that.
Okay, the next thing we're doing is the closing, and we'll start with Katie, because that's who's next in order here.
Well, I wanted to thank everybody for coming and for your questions. It's inspiring to see that so many people want to get involved in the democracy of their town. I hope at this point that you can see that I am passionate about our community and our city, and that I can bring a lot of fresh energy to the City Council. I will work my hardest to make sure that my community's ideas are represented and that their concerns are heard. I would love to be an alderperson that people know and trust. Like I said, I love getting out and talking to people and listening to people. I want to take one more opportunity to reiterate that I'm very excited to be running, and I'd be honored to be your District 2 representative on City Council.
I'm sitting here because I'm interested in doing it again. I have thoroughly enjoyed what I've done. I've enjoyed being part of a team, and the City Council in the past years has had that team aspect, and it's been a wonderful situation for me as an individual. What do we want to do in the future? Well, I'd like to be a part of that, because we have a very bright future. Things are going very well right now, and I would ask for your vote, and I promise to continue being what I am. Thank you.
I am excited to have the opportunity to be of service to my neighbors in District 3. I would like to be our voice at the table where the decisions are made that affect our day-to-day lives, including those around traffic, development, and access to city services. I plan to be accessible to my neighbors so that I can hear from many voices from all different perspectives, which I believe will help me to find good solutions for Verona as we continue to grow. Thank you.
Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight. It's a really good turnout, and thanks for OWR for sponsoring this. Yeah, I want to be I enjoy this city council position, and I want to keep doing it. I'll do it till I don't enjoy it. I'm looking forward to working on the challenges we have coming up, working on how we're going to develop the Northwest neighborhood or the North neighborhood, what's happening with the Public Works building. There's just a lot going on in the city. I enjoy being involved with it. I enjoy working with the citizens, and I enjoy talking about it with the citizens, which I do all over town. I do it when I coach my daughter's softball team, and when I'm walking around after the game, they're always talking to me about it. It's everywhere, and I enjoy that part a lot. So thank you for everybody for coming tonight.
Thank you to the aldermanic candidates. Our next group will be the county board candidates. Okay. For the county board candidates, we have Jason Knoll and Jacob Lingenbuehl. Knoll?
Yeah, it's Knoll.
It's Knoll.
I know it looks like Knoll, but the K is pronounced.
Oh, I should have asked.
That's all right, that's all right.
Okay, we'll start with the opening statements. Jason, we'll start with you, and then go to Jacob.
Great. So, so as mentioned, I'm Jason Knoll, and I'm running for Dane County Board. And I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and especially the Verona Senior Center for hosting us, and the OWR and League of Women Voters who are helping to organize this. I think events like this are just really important for our democracy. So I've dedicated my entire adult life to public service. For the past 16 years, I've taught social studies at Verona Area High School. And before that, I was in the military for 11 years. In fact, I was even in public service before I was an adult, because I joined the reserves 8 days after I turned 17, in between my junior and senior years of high school. So, in addition to that, 2 years ago, I started a charity with my students called Verona A. And part of our mission is to help children and families living in poverty here in Dane County. You may have seen us last year on our Camp Out to Stamp Out Child Poverty and Food Insecurity in front of Miller's. My wife Rachel is also a teacher, and we have 3 amazing children who go to school here in the district. And I'm really grateful for their support and allowing me for skipping out on bedtime routines tonight and reading books. And I want to close by saying why I'm running really quickly here. I'm running for Dane County Board for the same reason I became a teacher. It's very simple. I want to help people, and I want to make a positive difference in their life. Thanks.
Okay, Jacob?
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Rugenbiel. I'm running for county board. I have been a lifelong resident of our community, and my family ties extend back 97 years to 1921. And I am a business owner. I've owned my business for 5 years here, and I studied business administration and entrepreneurship at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. And I have an independent view on a lot of the issues that affect our community, and I don't bring with me outside influence from downtown Madison. The decisions that I make at the board will be for the greater good of the people in our community.
Okay, our first question will go to Jacob. Why are you running for county board, and what will be your top priorities? 1 minute.
Well, I'm running because I want to kind of continue on, our day-to-day life as it's been going, and put up a good fight and focus on the core, services that, the county board has a direct hand in, make sure that the funding's there to maintain our roads, make sure that snow removals we have the equipment to handle the snow. When you turn the faucet on, you got clean water to drink. When you use the bathroom facilities, their waste is pumped out and handled, in a responsible manner. And most importantly, public safety. When you call 911, I want to make sure that someone's there, every time to answer that phone call and get you the services you need.
Thank you. And Jason?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I mentioned it briefly in my opening remarks, that I'm running for Dane County Board because helping people is what I do. Public service is what I've done for the past 25 years now. As Dane County continues to grow, and it's going to continue and continue, and growing along with it, I want to make sure that social development and environmental sustainability are part of our economic growth strategy. In other words, I want to help meet the needs of the present while making sure future generations also have the ability to meet their needs. And I think about what kind of life my kids are going to have and what kind of life their kids are going to have. So my top priorities to do this are to help our children and families, first and foremost. Second is to boost our economy by improving our infrastructure. And third is to protect our environment.
Thank you, Jason. We'll stick with you for the next question to start, so that we're alternating who gets to start. What qualifications and experience will you bring to the Dane County Board?
Yeah, it's another really good question is, you know, as a teacher and a veteran, I know firsthand the important role that government plays in keeping our growing community healthy, vibrant, and safe. As a teacher, I understand how factors outside of school affect a child's education. And so I want to prioritize the crucial programs and services that help Dane County families thrive so that they and the children can live their lives in dignity and fulfill their potential. Additionally, as a veteran, I receive veteran services. Dane County provides veterans with services helping with education benefits, health benefits, employment, and housing. You probably saw in the news recently the proposed development on East Wash. And finally, you know, because I started this charity to help children and families, I'm aware of issues like child poverty in Dane County. Right now it's at 13%. It's too high. So that's my experience.
The question is, what are your qualifications and experience, and what will you bring to the Dane County Board?
My qualifications would be that I have a, you know, substantial family history with the community. I've lived here all my life. I'm a business owner. I have, you know, a degree in business and entrepreneurship, and I have a vested interest in our community. And I've made a commitment, both in my personal life and my business life, you know, to the residents and Dane County as a whole. And I plan on keeping it that way.
Thank you. Okay, our next question is from the community, from the audience, and it comes with a short description of the background. Current Dane County stay-on requirements are 90%, which allows for stormwater runoff of 10%. In 2017, a joint committee of the Regional Planning Commission, and the Dane County Lakes and Watershed Commission recommended that Dane County go to 100% stay-on requirements to protect lakes and rivers. What are your views on 100% stay-on for stormwater management? Starts with you.
Well, I own a boat. I'm an avid boater, and I enjoy Lake Mendota specifically. And you know, I'm well aware of the algae that is, you know, prevalent in the lakes. And you know, if I get the issue in front of me and I can outweigh our options, you know, I can make a, you know, educated decision for what's best for us.
It's a good question, especially because we want to do as much as we can to keep our lakes clean. Every summer, it seems we're getting announcements that another beach is closed, and you know that affects everybody who goes out on the lake in a boat, or families with children who go to the beach. And so, you know, if this proposal were to come before me, I would want to take a look at the environmental impact studies as well as the economic impact studies, and see and talk with a variety of agencies to come up with a comprehensive solution, but mostly to keep our lakes clean.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, any other questions on the little blue cards? You want to get me one so we can start asking it? Okay, Jason, this one starts with you. Do you support building a new jail?
Yeah, well, that's a hot topic right now, isn't it? So I think first and foremost, any person who is in jail for whatever reason, we need to make sure that they are living in humane conditions, and we need to make sure that they're receiving the necessary services they need to re-enter into life, and also to make sure that there isn't a rate of recidivism. But I think also on top of that, we need to take a look at what we can do to reform the criminal justice system so that it doesn't lead to overcrowding of the jails and doesn't put a strain on the resources there. So that those are kind of two of the issues that I would address with that.
Thank you. Jacob?
Well, I gotta ask, how many of you have actually gone and took a tour of the jail? Okay. Well, I went last week, and I spent 3 hours with Sheriff Mahoney, and I got a pretty in-depth tour of the facilities there. And I'm all for, the consolidation project. I'm not read into it, too much, but they've done the research. It's been on the books for 20 years. It has to happen. It has to go through, and down the line, an investment needs to be made in the foreground to prevent, people from entering up incarcerated in the first place.
Thank you. And if I read these two questions, I would have combined them. But this way you each get a whole minute to talk about programs you would consider to help reduce jail population. So we'll start with Jacob and then go to Jason.
Well, the statistics for the day that I was there, 85% of those incarcerated were for drug and alcohol-related offenses. If we funded collectively, a community center for mentally, people with mental disorders or, people that need those requisite services, that would help them get, the treatment that they need so that they're not, getting incarcerated.
Okay, Jason, services to keep people out of jail.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of different ways that we could prevent people from going to jail. A couple of them would be making sure that people have rehabilitation services when it comes to drugs and alcohol. Another one is mental health services, making sure that they receive the required services there. A third one would be to, in the school to prison pipeline. We want to keep kids in school, and so we need to look at ways with that. We also should take a look at how laws are maybe impacting certain communities, and take a look at the impact that that's having on those communities as well.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we have 1 minute for each of you to do a final statement, and we'll start with Jason.
All right. Well, thanks again, and thanks to all of you for coming out tonight. I love doing this. And for me, it really is a privilege and an honor to speak with you, and I'd be more than happy to talk with you afterwards. My background and experiences as a father, a teacher, and a veteran, I think make me a really well-qualified candidate for the Dane County Board. And with your support, we will continue to keep Verona and Dane County great places to live. If you want to find out more information about me, you can visit my website. It's jasonfordane.com. 4 is spelled out. And hopefully after tonight and after you've learned more about me, I'll have earned your support and your vote for April 3rd.
And the last word goes to Jacob.
All right, thank you everyone for coming. I just really want to, make sure that we're all taken care of here. All of our special, departments and all of our core services have the funding that they need to provide for us day in and day out, the services that we often take for granted. And with me on the board, looking at things, in a responsible manner and making sure that the decisions are what's best for all of us. Coming from a business standpoint and a lifelong resident, I think that I can make a really good impact for us.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Our next group is the school board candidates. Two of you here at the moment. Sir, what is your name?
Joseph Pease.
Hi, Joseph. Joseph is here as a representative for Thomas Durst, and Jim Rutter's representing himself. Our start here is with, I'm a space cadet. What did you say your name was?
Joseph Feast.
Thank you, Joseph. Joseph, why don't you start reading the statement Thomas provided you for the opening statement.
Tom is a lifelong Verona resident. He's a retired dairy farmer. He has been on the school board for a cumulative of 12 years, several years served as president. He's had 4 children go through the Verona School District, and he is very committed to the school district in his length of service. He also is a member of the Finance Committee on the school board, and he wants to see the school district continue to grow and be an attractive district. And that is why he is running for re-election on the school board. Thank you for being here.
Okay, Jim, 2 minutes for an opening statement.
Thank you for being here tonight. I'm Jim Reuter. I am a recently retired employee of the school district of Verona. I have 30 years experience working in public schools in Wisconsin, primarily southern and southwest Wisconsin. I would like to continue to serve students, families, and the community instead of as an employee in the district, but on the school board. I've benefited for many years from the efforts of various school boards, and I believe it's my turn to be a candidate to possibly serve on the school board here as an informed, dedicated school board member.
Thank you. You'll be starting for the next question this way. Each of you get to start half the time. Why are you running for Verona School Board, and what will be your top priorities? We'll start with Jim.
Sure. I have 4 grandchildren that reside in Verona and are members of the school body, or 3 of them right now, 1 will be soon. So that's a priority. I also am invested in all the students that I served in the district and throughout my career, and believe that school boards play an important role in serving students and their families and the community member. And I would like to invest my time and efforts to play a part in that. I have a lot of background in other boards as well. I served on the Wisconsin Badger Camp board for several years. Wisconsin Badger Camp is a camp that serves adults who are developmentally disabled, church boards, and various library boards in communities I lived in before.
Okay, Joseph, you were going to read Thomas's statement.
All right, Thomas is running for the Verona School Board because it has played an important role in his life and the lives of his 4 children. As a Verona High School alum, Tom would like to see that the goals that he has actually helped develop for the Verona Area School District get set into place and are implemented smoothly, with an emphasis on the new high school. A crucial factor for the Verona Area School District will be just that, the new high school. As a board member, Tom has played a role in making sure that the school will be built, and it is very crucial to Tom that the school is integrated into the Verona Area School District smoothly. Also, he has a great deal of experience with drawing attendance boundaries. And going forward, new attendance boundaries will need to be drawn on all levels of schooling in our growing district. And so that is why he is running for an open and sustainable school district.
Okay, you get to start with the next question. What qualifications and experience will Tom bring to the school board?
As I've said earlier, Tom has been on the school board for a total of 12 years. And he has lived in Verona his whole life. As a farmer and parent, Tom knows the crucial role that our schools play in growing strong individuals in our community. Tom would like to see that the work that he has done in the past as a school board member to continue. Specifically, Tom wants current and future students to be given more quality opportunities by the same school district that he and his children went to, that helped them to develop and be successful members of society today. Overall, he believes that his experience on the school board will be a continued asset to the growing district, and he hopes that he has your vote.
Okay, Jim, the question is, what qualifications and experience will you bring to the school board?
Of those 30 years I've had in public schools, 18 of those I served as a classroom teacher, another 12 as a school administrator. I have a master's degree in early childhood special education. I have a master's degree in educational leadership. I have experience on various boards. I know how boards function and believe I could be a solid team member on that board. I have experience with working with community members and family members and administrative team members. I believe I could function well on the school board as well.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with you for the next question. What is your view regarding the use of tax dollars for private voucher schools?
I highly value and admire efforts in private schools. I am a strong opponent of choice public funds going to private schools. I believe that should continue to be separated, and funding of public schools need to be preserved by all efforts.
Thank you. Okay, Joseph, you're going to present Tom's statement on vouchers, public tax dollars for voucher schools.
Yes, voucher programs are generally state-funded and are generally used in larger cities such as Milwaukee. However, the Verona School District is open enrollment, and it is a very attracting school district, meaning that most people who come to Verona stay there. There's a wide variety of schools here for families to choose from. We have a growing network, 2 high schools, several charter schools. So there really is a lot of incentive to come to Verona, not only for students, but for faculty as well. We also have Spanish immersion classes, and they have already been made available, and they will ensure that families' children will be enrolled in the best manner that suits them, that they want their children to be in. Tom has also been a very large supporter of Verona's district, and like I stated before, very few people want to leave our district, and he would like to keep it that way. And I believe that, me personally, I believe he's done that in the past and wants to do it in the future. Thank you.
Okay, looks like we have some cards here. I'm not sure how we have a non-candidate answer this question.
Unless I have something specifically written down by Tom, I won't be able to answer.
Okay, that sounds fair. So Jim, I guess this question is for you. With the increasing diversity of the school district, how would you suggest helping teachers work with their diverse student body?
First, I want to make it clear that the diversity of our student body is a positive thing in Verona. I know that many staff members have received training on specific needs of families with diversity and students with diversity, and that effort needs to continue. I just continue training and self-evaluations and outside input on discussions about diversity of students and families is a healthy thing.
Thank you. Okay, well, we're down to closing statements. Jim, would you make your closing statement, and then we'll have...
Sure. First of all, thanks to OWR for putting the forum together, and thanks for everybody coming tonight. I do have a Facebook page, Jim Ritter for Verona Area School Board, if you care to learn anything more about myself or my efforts as a potential school board candidate. I went into the business of education to serve students, and I would continue to have that as my priority as a school board member as well.
Thank you. Joseph, your statement from Tom.
Yes, Tom would like to extend his gratitude for OWR for putting this on tonight. Tom feels that he has been given so much by the Verona community that he would like to continue giving back to it. He has proven experience in the past. His implementations of new developments in the school district have been very crucial in his time on the board. He is a concrete thinker. He looks for solutions. And most importantly, he's a Verona resident, lifelong. He knows the district, and he would like to see it continue and be as attractive as it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, I'm amazed. I didn't think we were going to get through 4 sets of candidate forums in an hour and a half, and we've done it in a little over an hour and a quarter. So we have a few minutes left. I'm going to close this up. Charles, did you have anything you wanted to say?
I just want to say thank you to Gail and to the league for helping us through this. This is a great opportunity. And since we have a couple minutes before we were slated to close, I would encourage you, if you have questions of any of the candidates that you weren't able to ask, to take the time to approach them and get acquainted and say hi to your friends and neighbors. And thank you again for coming.
There's food.
Oh, also, food, yeah. Everything goes better with food. There are some cookies and refreshments over on the table. I encourage you to take advantage of that. Thank you.
Are there any of the unopposed candidates here tonight? No. Okay. Just thought I'd see if they wanted to say hello. I wanted to say our Wisconsin Revolution is born out of the Bernie Sanders campaign, and we believe that people should come first above interest of large corporations and the 1%. And if you want to be involved in OWR, you can sign up with us at that table over there. And I want to thank Andy Scott with VHAT for filming the event, and also Van Peterson. Thank you to the Senior Center. Thanks to Millers for allowing us to hand out flyers. Thanks to Jim Ferroli with the Verona Press for his story. If you haven't read the latest paper, you can pick one up. It's got a lot of stuff on the candidates in this edition. And thank you to the volunteers with our OWR who made this event possible, especially to Charlie. And let's see, anything else? And that's it. Thank you, Gail. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, I also want to thank all the candidates, our timer, Patrick Stoffel, OWR, for sponsoring the forum. The election will be held on April 3rd. The League of Women Voters publishes candidates' answers as an insert in Isthmus. Now there's a tongue twister. It will be available to the public March 15th. The candidates' answers will be on the League of Women Voters website about March 1st. There are League of Women Voters brochures and a handout about the new online voter registration system on one of the tables back there. Thanks to all of you for coming. And don't forget that just because you don't have a primary for any local races, we also have the primary February 20th for State Supreme Court. This concludes this forum. Thank you all.